Welcome to Internal Life, where change starts with the inner man. 2 weeks ago, I made a video briefly talking about Jim Kwik's book, Limitless, stating that the book was so far so good. And I even used an excerpt from the book to convey doing what works for you in whatever endeavor you pursue. I also stated the possibility of doing a book review for it once I was done. Well, here's the video. A lot of things Jim covered in Limitless relates to what I talk about here on Internal Life, such as unlimiting yourself in every aspect of your life, although we put it in different words. Another example would be in the last chapter where he talked about a problem-solving tactic called exponential thinking, and part of that process of getting to the root of the problem or problems. How does it correlate with my philosophy here? Well, look no further than my catchphrase, change starts with the inner man. To me, the inner person is the root, the very essence of an individual, and this is the best place to start problem solving, or to put it in a word, introspect. Physical and financial improvements are areas you can work on as you go, but I think when it comes to elevating and improving your life, it all begins inwardly. The inner person is the foundation of everything, and it's difficult for you, or rather it's difficult for your building, so to speak, to be firm and immovable if your foundation is weak and or wobbly. He also talks about the inner critics as well as outer critics, something I address here as well. I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along the lines of how limitless one can become if we don't allow the opinions or expectations of others to run or ruin our lives, and I agree 1,000,000%. He talks about how the education system has an archaic way of teaching students, and I agree with that, and I also include they have an indoctrinating way of teaching them as well. While there are things you can learn at school, and he alluded to this as well, these institutions don't teach you to think for yourself, but rather what to think. But I won't go further into that. This particular part is better suited for my social commentary platforms. Anyway, his approach is teaching people to learn how to learn, and part of this approach is a unique technique, such as giving you a list of words, test you to memorize them. Typically, one is going to do it the way they've been taught, the traditional way. Then he offers his method through the use of images/objects. Before I begin, I will say ahead of time that the method sounds crazy, but bear with me. For example, he listed the words fire hydrant, balloons, batteries, barrel, board, diamond, knight, ox, toothbrush, and sign. Using the traditional method, I read the words a couple of times in an attempt to get them embedded in my mind. I remembered some, but not all. Then using the method that he offered in the book, which was putting the words together in a visualization by imagining tying the balloons to a fire hydrant. The hydrant floats in the air, then a hail of batteries being shot from a barrel pops the balloons. The barrels of batteries are launched by a board that is supported by a diamond. The diamond is then snatched by a knight, who is then confronted by an ox. To get past it, the knight pulls out a toothbrush and brushes the ox's teeth. The ox moves out of the way, revealing a sign that says congratulations. Now, as crazy as all that sounded, it actually worked. I read that passage a couple of days ago, and I still remember the words as well as the visualization. The purpose of the exercise is to train your brain and memory. As he states, I'm paraphrasing again, your brain is like a muscle just like the other muscles in your body, and it will only get better and stronger the more you exercise it, and I agree. The one thing I didn't agree with totally is his take on multitasking. While he is correct that multitasking can be distracting and have you all over the place, particularly if you're taking on too many things at once. If it's, say, 2 things, I think it can be effectively accomplished. Some people can effectively walk and chew gum at the same time. It depends on the individual and the task at hand, or rather how many tasks they take on, because too much usually isn't good.